Thank you so much for watching. We are harvesting some herbs this morning. I am focusing on tarragon, lemon balm, and stevia because they're growing the fastest in my garden. My goal is to keep up on pinching and pruning my herbs so that I can dry and have a stockpile of herbs all season long. That is my favorite thing to do and to have on my little homestead. So I got this dehydrator a few years ago from Rural King. It's marketed as a jerky dehydrator or maker, but you can dehydrate anything you want. I will see if I can find a link to it, but you know, I don't even know if they still have it. I haven't seen it at Rural King since. So there are a lot of dehydrators on Amazon and at your local store. So definitely check those out if you want to begin dehydrating any of the produce that you're growing. You can also dehydrate in the oven. You'll want to set your oven at around, I would say, 200 to 250, and then keep an eye on them. You want to make sure that they don't get burnt, but they're at the point where if you bend it, it snaps. You know, the bend and snap for any of my Legally Blonde fans out there. I used to love that movie so much. Anyways, so I'm just preparing my dehydrator to dehydrate these herbs, and it doesn't take very long, especially with when you're putting plants in there. I've never made jerky. I would love to try to do jerky one time, but with the herbs, they're good in like probably 3 hours. These guys will be ready. Alexa, is the whole stevia plant edible?
Yes, the whole stevia plant is edible, and its leaves, young stems, and tip are commonly eaten raw. However, it's important to note that the sweet components in stevia are found in the leaves and not in the rest of the plant, so only the leaves need to be harvested for culinary use.
What I really like about this dehydrator is that it's really easy to use and set up. There's no frills to it, there's no extraness to it. You just set it up, turn it on. You don't get any timers or anything like that, so you just come back and check it. And once you are drying things on a regular basis, you know how long it takes, so you know when to check on them. Now it's time to feed my sourdough. Me and sourdough have been struggling for years. I have been trying my hardest to make a good starter and to stay motivated to keep feeding it, but somehow it's all my fault. But I found this recipe on TikTok where you start it in small quantities. So you don't have this ginormous overflowing thing to keep track of. It's small, and I just want to make one loaf this time around, so I don't need to have a big giant jug of it. Small is fine with me, so we'll see how it goes. It's looking okay. I'm still a little discouraged at the slowness of the rise for this, but I'm gonna keep going and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I have to share with you some of my one new gadget that I bought. These herb shears from Amazon. Look at that. This is gonna be so fun to use. I cannot wait. It came with this, which I don't really know exactly how to use this just yet. It's got a little cleaner comb to clean out the scissors. And then I bought these jars. These are for my herbs. And I wanted some smaller jars that could hold like a small amount of stuff. Obviously a small amount of stuff. But these will be like things that for spices that we're mixing up for dinners and not necessarily like a long-term storage. And I'll show you kind of what I mean. But they're so cute. I got 30 of these, and they were 25 bucks from Amazon. So down here I have larger jars that are more like bulk storage. So when I have like an abundance of something, I'll put it in a larger jar, and then take from that to make spices to put into smaller things. And then I collect jars. So I've got what's in here: dandelion, pineapple, sage. But I like, and this is a taco seasoning, so I like to use smaller jars to have my seasonings in. I also save these empty jars to put different seasonings in. What's in here? Lemon balm. I'm never out of lemon balm. So the smaller jars I like to have for like you know, the seasoning, the mixes, the things like that. I would love to replace our, let me show you, like our spices, and just have like mostly homemade stuff. So like I want to replace all this and put it into glass jars. And as much of it that I can do homemade, I would love to do that. Here is my other storage area for spices. And those are spices that I've collected over the years. It's not a lot, but this year I actually want to really get into drying the things that I'm growing and storing them, and also like buying the herbs and spices that I like to use. So like right here I have moringa, and I don't grow that here, so I bought it organic, and then I put it in a mason jar. Next thing that I'm doing is adding water back to my fish tank. This is an open tank, so the water evaporates very quickly in it. Every week I have to come in with a couple of gallons just to replenish it. But this tank, we just recently got into tanks starting January of this year, and I love it. I've been buying plants for it and fish. It's like really become a fun hobby for us. I recently bought 3 new fish the other day, and I don't know if it was the cat or the fish jumped out, but I found him dried up on the carpet below the tank, and we had been looking for him for like a whole day, trying to find him, and just like, where is he? We figured the cat might have got him. I don't know. They're pretty jumpy fish anyway. But yeah, so we're down 1 fish. I might replace him, but we'll see. But here's what the tank looks like. It's beautiful. I love it. I can't wait till the plants grow in. Since this year started, I have been slowing down with my houseplant purchases. I came to a realization that I was spending way more than I was making, you know, on social media. And that just really hit me really hard. And it was almost like a snap change in me. So I have been getting rid of stuff that does not, you know, that I don't really care about anymore, does not bring me joy. And I've been tending very closely to the plants that I do love, making sure they're getting the right light, making sure they're fertilized and watered, because those are the plants I want to see grow big and flourish in my home. I had a tendency of buying things that didn't really do well in my house, even though, you know, we have some decent windows and decent lighting, but there are certain plants that just always struggled, and I always would buy them. I'm also kind of out of the habit of rehabbing things, house plants at least, because it's just one more thing to tend to when my plate is already full. So this year's goal is just to make things easier, to lighten my load. And by doing that, that means getting rid of plants that don't, you know, bring me any joy. It also meant rehoming the chicks that I hatched earlier this year. I just could not, after we had an issue and like they all started dying like right after hatching, like the days following their hatching. And then I ran out and bought new chicks so that the one chick left wouldn't be sad. And then a week later, I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't have the excitement for this right now. And it really felt like a burden at the time. So I rehomed them. And the lady was so excited and happy. She had lost her flock to a cat. So that made it feel so much better, you know, rehoming them. And then I've also this year rehomed 2 of my Sorama roosters. And now my flock feels right. So the chickens that I have now, I feel so comfortable with where my flock is right now. They're easy to take care of, easy to clean, and there's not an overabundance of roosters. There's not an overabundance of crowing anymore. And I just feel light on that end. So this year is all about figuring out where I want my energy spent. And I can tell you what, I don't want it spent having to continuously like clean up every single day. I don't want to have to be tending to house plants every single day. And I don't want to have to like tend to a million chickens every single day. So I'm setting in systems, processes that is going to make things easier for me. Thankfully, chickens are pretty low maintenance, and then the less you have, the easier it is. And that's the same for plants. The less house plants you have, the easier it is. I was like probably sitting at close to 300 plants. So I'm feeling so much relief these days. So happy to get rid of stuff and just, I still go into the plant section at the stores, but it feels good to be able to walk out of there and say no to stuff that typically I would have bought because, ooh, this looks nice. I haven't seen this here before, and it's a good feeling. I think I'm growing up, you guys. I didn't realize this at the time, but this video became so random. But I did get a lot of stuff done. And this is like morning time, so like, before noon, I'm out getting all this stuff done. So I got my herbs snipped. I got the fish, watered. My shelf clean. And now I'm mulching and pulling some weeds. I do get asked on different platforms, but I don't use anything to spray my weeds, not usually. I am a hand puller. I don't like buying sprays, especially because I don't really know how that will affect my garden long term, and I'm trying to be more conscious about that kind of stuff. So I just hand pull. And then this year I'm not fussing about some weeds, like I'm making sure my plants that I planted are doing great, and then when I come across weeds, I'll pull them, or I'll pull them later. It's not last year and the year before I was really just fussing over these weeds. I gotta go pull weeds, they're out of control. Now I pull them when I have the time, or when I'm weed whacking after mowing. I'll just hit them with the weed whacker. Like, at least that keeps the foliage down, but I'm not stressing over a weed anymore. And thankfully so, because my priorities are to the plants that I planted and making sure that they're healthy, that they're mulched and watered for sure. This is a coffee grinder that I got from Amazon. I use this to grind my herbs. You can also use mortar and pestle. You can crunch them up in your hands. Whatever you have available to you, you can use that to, break down your herbs. Do what's within your budget. Do what works for you. There's so many ways to do this. You don't have to have every tool that I have, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I will link the coffee grinder. It actually was very, very cheap. I would say like less than $20 on Amazon. So if you're interested in it, I will link it for you. But don't feel like you have to have this in order to grind up your herbs. You can literally put your herbs in a bowl and crush them with a spoon or something like that, or use your hands to crush them. I love these new little jars. They are the perfect size. I think we're gonna be finished up around here. This video is longer than expected. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Are you being good? Are you being good boys while I'm working? Yeah. Yes, this one's always good. Aren't you? Oh, no jumping. Remember your leg. No jumping. Ugh. No jumping. What about this one? What about this little one? Drop it. Drop. Good boy. Good boy. What about this little one? Can I see the little one? Hi, Chalupa. Hi, Chalupa. What's this? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.